It's about midnight, and I need to start getting another floss tube ready, and I haven't had time to sit down and do like everything in one sitting. I literally just got home right now. My hair, these hairs on the side, oh, they freaking, look at it, they piss me off so bad. Anyway, I need to do a floss tube, and I don't think I have time to sit down for an hour, hour and a half and do the whole entire thing. So I'm gonna start this floss tube with the haul, and then hopefully tomorrow, I don't know, my morning is gonna be busy, but tomorrow I'm hoping that I will have the hour to sit down and do the rest of the floss tube, so that this can go up on Friday or Saturday. We'll see, because I'm going to be out of town Saturday and Sunday, and there's not going to be zero recording, and I don't think I'm going to be able to upload because I will be at my grandma's house and there's no Wi-Fi there. So this needs to be up before then. And then yeah, I just have a lot of haul, so I'm going to try not to talk so much about the haul stuff and show it and not ramble. Today I'm just drinking water because I'm really tired. I don't think I mentioned, last night I spent the night at my father-in-law's, and I've been there all day today as well, and just haven't had a lot of time to get a lot of things done. And then, like I said, I'm gonna, tomorrow, not only do we have Zoom meetings in the mornings, but my son has a dentist appointment, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I think me and one of my daughters are gonna do Zoom on the phone so that we can still attend the meeting, but I don't know, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna message her teacher tonight and fix that and see. I don't know, I'm rambling. But anyway, this online thing is just too much. So the haul is a lot. A lot. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna save the best for last. Yeah, I'm gonna save the best for last. Let me pull the haul up. Okay. My computer's making a lot of noise. So, a couple of things. Is this like, okay, I gotta make sure like nothing's cut in half. Okay. I think somebody said, is it 2020 or 2021 is the year of the SAL? I have no idea. My eyes are so itchy because I didn't take my allergy pills last night. Somebody said it's the year of the SAL, and they weren't lying. I still don't know if they meant this year or next year, but anyway, there's a ton of freaking sales going on. And so, where's the rest of it? Oh, please. Yeah, something wasn't right here. Number 2. And that is something different. Oh, I need to leave this out on my desk because I wanted to respond to that as well. Here it is. What is all the, why do I have so many? I tell you guys, too much haul. That's a lot of pages. Okay. Year of the SAL. Somebody, I don't know where I saw this at. I saw it somewhere. It is the, there's a stitch along going on through Clouds Factory. Now, I'm gonna say that I'm not incredibly thrilled with Clouds Factory's customer service based off of my first orders. So the first thing that I ordered from Clouds Factory was I ordered the giant Harry Potter, I can't remember what it's called, but they look like little, do you guys remember those Tsum Tsums? They look like little Harry Potter Tsum Tsums, and it's a banner as well, and it's called giant version of the Harry Potter thing because I also saw miniature versions of it as well. I ordered that. I ordered a Doctor Who pattern, and I was having so many troubles with the website, I guess because it's an international website, because I believe the owner is based in Italy, Anyway, I told myself I was never going to order from them again because I reached out to them for help and tried to see, like, I really wanted this pattern. I told them, how can I get these patterns? I'm having a lot of trouble with your website. I can't get the transactions to go through. And they were just like, sorry, can't help you. And so I just felt really like ugly about that, and I didn't want to order from them again. However, they came out with the cutest freaking stitch along that I've ever seen. I don't have a picture of the updated one, but I'll put a thing here so you can see, because parts 1 and 2 have already came out. There's only 4 parts of it, and it's called the Halloween Parade Stitch Along. It's on it when you go to their website. It's right up on top, and this is what it looks like. Oh my gosh, it is so freaking cute. Let me see if I can get you guys closer without ruining too much light here. Is it? I can't even see if you guys are focusing on it or not. The lighting is going to be horrendous during this because it is midnight and I don't have better light. It is so cute. I'm going to put another picture here so you guys can see it. So I caved and got the Halloween stitch along because I had to. It was that freaking cute. I can't get over it. The second one, you'll see it in the picture, because the second one is a little witch with like a little castle. Very cute. And then I also saw I don't know how I saw this. Lindy Stitches has a freebie out that is also one of the cutest freaking things I have ever seen, and it is Little Urn of Horrors. And isn't that the freaking cutest thing you've ever seen? So if you haven't seen it, this is an old movie called Little House of Horrors? Little House of Horrors, and it's about this plant. I can't remember the plant's name, and he's always yelling, "Feed me!" I can't remember the guy's name, but it's from the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I can never remember his damn name. Anyway, he ends up coming up with this plant and saves the flower shop that he works at. It's a really, I don't want to say an old movie, but it's older. It's not of fantastic quality for all of you millennials out there. But this is a freebie on her website right now. So if you go to her, I can't remember how her website works. I feel like she's got a blog, and then there's links to the patterns and stuff. Anyway, this so freaking cute. It's 80 by 107 stitches, and it calls for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 colors. And there's a little tiny bit of back stitching on the eye. That's it. It's really cute though, and I think I have some ideas of what to use for the base in a variegated floss. While I was there, I also saw that she just came out with another new pattern. So these are supposed to be folded. This is actually the back of the chart. You're supposed to fold them like this, and that's what they look like, but I keep them straight because that's how I store them. So they look a little different. Then if you probably like this one, I think you could probably get a hard copy of this somewhere. But this is called Dracula's Confession. And let me see if I can get you guys. That's what it looks like. And it also has this one as well. So the top one says, I love the shade and the shadow and would be alone with my thoughts when I may. And then the bottom one says, I love the shade and the shadow and would be alone with my thoughts when I may. So I say the same thing. I thought it was something different because the letters looked different, but you can basically, it's the same back and the letters are in different font. And then this one has the row of these, like, I don't know what these are called, these motifs here. And they're just depending on how you want to frame it, if this way or this way. I think I like this one better. It's just smaller, and I like the overall layout of it. I'll put a better picture here so you guys can see it, because I feel like it's just not picking up the quality of it on here. So I got that from Lindy Stitches as well. So you know what, I'm gonna leave this out because this is gonna help me remember what I need to do after this. Hopefully this doesn't fall behind my desk. That would be horrible. Then, because I can't stop picking stuff up that is a really good price, I got a couple of things off of D-Stash. I can't remember how much these were. They were less than $10 each. This one is a leaflet from Stony Creek called Haunted Welcome, and it is this Grim Reaper with welcome, enter if you dare, and it's got a grave, a skull, of course the trees, crow, and then the Reaper. I love the design of his what is that called anyway, his hood? I don't know. And I have a problem with Stony Creek because everything they have is so freaking cute. So they have a bunch of other stuff on the back of it. Ugh, I swear. And I want freaking all of it. Like, who doesn't want to do the Afghan? I freaking love it. But seriously, that's like a lifetime project. It's a Halloween Village Afghan. I don't know how long it is or how big it is, but seriously, come on. I'd probably never finish it. Sticking with D-Stash, I also found this Medieval Maiden chart by Joan Elliott. Isn't she gorgeous? Again, I couldn't believe the price because some of these are selling on eBay for like $80 freaking dollars. And I think it's because a lot of Joan Elliott's stuff is out of print. And if you look on eBay for the catalogs that she comes out in, the cross-stitching catalogs, I'm assuming that those charts aren't ever released anywhere else because those right now, today, September 3rd, there is a ton of the cross-stitching. I think it's cross-stitch gold. I might be wrong, but if you look up Joan Elliott, they'll pop up. Several of the catalogs are selling for $70, $80, $99 right now. And the forefront of the listing is because there's a Joan Elliott design in it. They're just highly sought after. There's one catalog that I have my eye on, but I'm not gonna, I think right now it's listed at $45. I'm not gonna pay that much for a catalog. But I saw this one. Apparently there was others of this Maiden series that she said that she had, but she sold them before, and for some reason nobody wanted this one. And so I did, and so I got it because I absolutely love it. But it is gorgeous. I feel like the light is slightly better right there. Okay, you're a little high, but we'll make it work, right? So last week or so, Heaven Earth Designs had another 40% off sale, and so I had some minis on my, I only have one mini. Anyway, I had some stuff on my radar because with Heaven and Earth Designs, you never know when something's gonna come and go. And if you pay attention to the Facebook group, there's a lot of stuff. Oops, I gotta turn that back on because it provides some light. There's a lot of stuff that's not on the website anymore, or retired, or it was a limited edition. And so like lately, if there's something that I feel like I just have to have, I've been getting it from them every time there's a sale because I don't want to miss it. So that happened with this one here. So I waited and waited. Apparently this is one of the freebie charts that she released during the whole 0809 issue from DMC came out. She released a ton of new charts. I don't know if all of them are new, but she released a bunch of charts as freebies. I missed a bunch of them because I wasn't paying attention, and this one happened to be one of them. And when it came out as a chart again to purchase, I had to get it because I didn't want it to go away again. Oh, look at, you can see the blues here. I'm gonna put a picture here so you guys can see it. But it is by Annie Stokes, and it's called Sailor's Ruin. Originally someone had posted on that this was called Sailor's Demise. I mean, I don't know if they changed the name or what, but it's freaking gorgeous. Of course it's an 18 by 26. Mine's gonna be slightly smaller because I love to do these on 28 count. So I got this one, and it's all blue. I've been following Darling Bluebell on Instagram, and she is really calling me to do the blues and be in that colorful blue theme. Blue is my favorite color, and so it's calling to me. So The next one that I got, because the artist retired, or her charts retired from the Heaven Art Designs website, and they were going to stop selling all of her charts August 31st. Did August have 31 days? I can't even keep track of the days anymore, you guys. Yes, August had 31 days. So all of her charts were going to retire. And so I had a couple on my wish list, and then when it came down to it, I said, I'm just going to get this one. So the artist was Cheryl Baker. I'll put a picture here so you guys can see it. The lighting of what it looks like back here is fine, but you can't even tell what the image is. But I'll put the proper picture right here so you guys can see it. But this one is called A Pirate's Life for Me. So she had another one that I kind of liked too, and I was going to get the mini version of that, and then I just decided that I liked this one better. And it's a pumpkin with a, like, I guess it's a parrot. It's got some greenery in the background. It's got like a little skull on there, and he's got a hat on. He's got a cute little like satchel that he's holding, and I just think that the artwork behind it is very cute and I love it. So I went ahead and got that. And then I got this one. Has been on my wish list for a very long time, never bothered to get it before, and I decided to just go ahead and get it. This is Minnie the Priestess by, I think it's by Ruth Thompson. It kind of looks like a Caro Marchetti, something that he would draw. That's what this one looks like. It's not incredibly detailed, but it does have a lot of, see if I can touch you without, there we go. It does have a lot of gold in it. And I just love it. I'm not a big fan of animals, things with like live animals or real animals, but I loved the background of it. I loved the mood and everything about it. And I just have this thing for Egyptian stuff. And so I decided to go ahead and get it. It's only 6 by 13 on 25 count. And so I feel like this is going to be fun to work on. And the last thing that I got from them, when I saw this image, it immediately caught my attention. There was a couple of reasons why I decided ultimately to go ahead and purchase it. The first one, well, I liked it, obviously. But the second one also called to the colors that I was trying to do, because I was talking to Amy, my friend Amy, and she was telling me that she really liked things with a lot of color. And I started really thinking about my color choices and the artwork that I've been purchasing, and realized like I really need some color. Not, this chart isn't like incredibly bold, but it has a color scheme that I wouldn't normally have picked out. And then when I started looking at the artist, because he's new, from my understanding, to the, if I'm recalling correctly, to the Heaven Art Designs website, he actually lives in my hometown. I still go there. My family still lives there, and I was like, what the heck, it's a really small world. So this one is Home on the Range by Jeff Haney. I'll put the digital picture here so you can see some of the detail a lot better, but it's so freaking cute, and it totally reminds me of home with the mountains and the cave here, the whole like camping thing and the campfire and the rocks in the background. It just reminds me of home. And the sky is one of my favorite parts, because it's got the pink to the blue with the moon and everything in the background. So my hometown, there's this huge mountain, and it has a statue on it. It's not a real statue. However, it's called the Kneeling Nun. If you don't know about the Kneeling Nun, you should look it up, because it's a landmark in my hometown, and it's this huge thing, and it's a pretty big deal. And it reminds me of that. When I was little, we used to go hiking a lot. We kind of lived like backed up against the mountain where like my housing development was, and there's a bunch of hiking trails and everything back there. It's very kid and family friendly, so we would always used to go back there, and it was so much fun. And it just reminds me of that time in my life, you know, that we did stuff like that. So a bunch of other stuff. So I showed you guys these already. No, I didn't. I think I showed you guys all this. No, I don't think I did. I didn't show you guys these. Oh, it's because some of these charts I have up on my for sale things. So I'm just gonna run through them very quickly So I picked up Abby Rose Designs My Pretties. Looks like this. Why do you not focus? I picked up Jack's Bash from Plum Street Samplers. This one's kind of hard to see. It is a sampler, a Halloween kind of sampler style. Of course, I'm gonna completely cut out the alphabet because I don't like the alphabet. Let me take it out of the bag so you guys can see better. Apollo. He grew up with cats. I'm pretty sure I told you guys this story, but he is still not used to cats. He freaking chases them like there's no tomorrow. So I'm gonna put it on this side. I just can't see you guys on this side. I'm gonna completely take out the alphabet here, and I'm gonna move the houses down to be on top of the woman and the man with the tree here. And so the border is gonna have to come last because I hate alphabet. And so this is also going to have to be redesigned and see. I'm not sure how high up that's going to come on top of here. So I will stitch up to this flower and then I will stop to see how high this is going to come up. And then I'll see what motifs I can and can't keep and then kind of work around that and go from there and see. Maybe I'll try to recharge it so that the motif comes around like the top, because it's probably going to come up to here. It comes around the top this way. To kind of bring it all together. I'm not sure, we'll see, but I don't like alphabets. It also has a cute saying on here about Jack apparently, and so it's thick too. It's a big one. Let me see what size it is. 168 by 185, so it's a good size. And yeah, it doesn't even say what type of fabric it is. It just says, oh yeah, 35 count. I can't even say that. It's by R&R though. A Bessedarian something. I also got Halloween Cobwebs by Waxing Moon Designs. I got Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. I can't get over this. This is one of my favorite charts. I just love this one so much. And I feel like I'm being drawn more and more to the sampler style of stitching, especially if it's a Halloween stitch. I also have the Christmas Witch by Kathy Barrick. I got one from a sale. Because it has a cat. Anything with a cat. I also got Sisters by Blackbird Designs, and I basically wanted it for this chart right here. So this has 5 charts in it. 1, 2, 3. It has 5 charts in it. So it has these 4 on the front and another one. And so I really like this one's cute too. Not my favorite, but this one here is definitely my favorite. It is a Halloween piece. And it says, at first cock crow, the ghosts must go back to their quiet graves below. And this is October 31st, 1894. I freaking love this. I don't see me picking it up before this Halloween. However, I would love to do something where like I started this and then finished it on Halloween day. That way I can put the year that I did it, or I don't know. I just think that that's too mature to finish it. I might just end up stitching it. I have no idea. And then I've been eyeing this piece since it came out at Market this year. I got Kringles by Little House Needleworks because like I need another house to freaking stitch, much less this style of house. But I've been eyeing this for a very long time and I had to get it. I absolutely love it. It's so freaking cute. If you haven't seen this, I'll put a digital picture here of this one too, because I feel like you're just not capturing the detail, but it's so cute. And what's funny is I'm not drawn to a lot of Christmas style patterns, but this one, it's the house. It's an old-fashioned department store filled with holiday treats, toys, and the spirit of the season. It's very cute, and it's stitched in DMC and Classic Colorworks. And It says 12 by 15, discount one and the 2 by 232. It's a big one as well. And then, because I couldn't not get it, I also picked up Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. Oh my, everybody's seen this one. You guys all know this one. I freaking love it. Oh my god. You guys, I officially have Sable, which I recently heard in Michelle Bendy's Flosstube. And if I'm thinking about it correctly, it's Stash Acquisition Beyond Life Expectancy. I need to have like 3 lifetimes to finish everything that I have at this point, or I need to just drop all my other hobbies, quit reading, quit watching TV, quit watching YouTube, quit making YouTube videos, quit school, quit my family, and just stitch. I'm just kidding. You guys know that, right? Yes. Somebody is stitching this on Instagram. I don't know who. And it just looks freaking amazing. Michelle Bendy has the original model, if I'm not mistaken, hanging in her home. She's lucky because then she doesn't actually have to stitch the damn thing. But I have it. This is big. This is freaking huge. $4.19 by $2.69. And then, because it just doesn't stop, the first release of the Autumn Lane Stitchery Stitch Along came out. So it's called Dark Queen of the Seas. This is the first part, and it's these 3 fish. I like the colors of the fish. They're cute. I'm not sure how I feel about them though, because I don't know. I don't like fish. You can see the silhouette here in the background of what she's gonna look like. So she's a dark queen. I don't know if this is gonna be like a Ursula play on Ursula or something like that, or a siren maybe, except that I feel like they should have not released the shadow. They should have kept it as complete secret. I would have liked that idea so much better, so that we didn't know what we were stitching. Other than, obviously, it's called Dark Queen of the Seas, but yeah, they should have left it. These fish are huge. So I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this stitch along. I kind of feel like I might not like it based off of what I see here. The fish are huge. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 107 wide by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 4-ish. 100, I don't know what I say, 107 by 64 roughly is what this is stitching up to be for those 3 fish. I feel like they're big, they're large fish, because if you look at the pattern, they take up this whole middle section. So I mean, it is what it is. Autumn Lane Stitchery, I feel like all of their designs are pretty, they're nice, and so I feel like they can't go wrong, but I just don't know how I feel about those fish. I really don't. Next is, I've got my Victoria Motto Floss of the Month from August. They came really late. Apparently she's just had a lot of trouble with shipping and stuff, and all of the orders are going out really late. Supposedly September is supposed to be much better. So we'll see if I get my September order earlier than normal. But every single one in this, except for one, is all called Heirloom, and then whatever. So I'm assuming these are all like garden themed things in gardens, what you would call them. And I know you can't see the variegation. I think I'll take a picture during the day and put that here so you can see the variegation in them, since you won't really be able to tell. But this month's colors are Heirloom Garden, which is a green and a light green and lighter green. Heirloom Dahlia, which is a red. This one doesn't have a lot of variegation in it. Heirloom Larkspur. This one I like. It's variegated purple to light purple, so it's nice. Heirloom Bluebells. Blue. It's like a cornflower blue. Pom Pom. Pink and light pink. You can definitely see the variegation. You can even see it here. Yeah, that one has a ton of variegation. And then Heirloom Marigold as well. But you can see the variegation in this one too on camera. this is the first time that my colors from Victoria Motto have been this bright for this collection. I have not had colors that are this bright. Does it look better without the monitor? We'll do it like this for a while and see. This is the first time that I've had colors that look like this from her. I honestly think this is my first pink. I don't think I've ever had a pink from her like this. And I think I have maybe one purple from her as well. I don't know. I feel like you keep getting the same colors over and over. And I recently discovered that not everybody gets the same colors every month, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. I must be the only one who didn't know this because I just found this out. So I'm kind of like about that. And I like them for small projects, but then once that color's done, it's done. Like I don't think you can get it anymore. So I don't know. It just kind of, it's an odd practice for everybody to get different colors every month. And I knew it seemed kind of weird because I would see Annie Joyfield Stitcher unbag hers, and they always seemed different than mine. I think there was once where she got the exact same colors that I got, and then every other time they were different. I thought it was just me. I thought that she got double like primitive thing, but I'm pretty sure she gets both. I don't know. It is what it is. And then this is the cutest thing ever. So a couple weeks ago, I won one of Michelle Bendy's auctions, and the thing finally came. I almost forgot about it, and it was wrapped. First, it was in a mailer. I think it was a bubble mailer, and then the box came decorated, which I can only assume that Rosie decorated. It's the cutest freaking thing ever. Totally reminds me of something that my girls would do. I feel like this is a pumpkin patch, but I might not be correct, but that's what it looks like to me, is a pumpkin patch. And then on the front, she would put $1. So, or $100. She also has $100 on here too, so I don't think I paid $100 for it. No, I didn't. And inside the box is the hang it wand, which is this small package. But if you guys watch Michelle Bendy's videos, and you already know what it is, but I got these two Hogwarts needle minders. So one is the Ravenclaw and the other is the Gryffindor. I didn't think I was going to win these. So the way that I've been doing it with Michelle's auctions is I don't bid on anything until Friday night, because I know that she draws the winner Saturday morning. And so I wait until Friday night, the latest possible minute before I'm going to go to bed. Sometimes I'm lucky when I win, which is what happened with both of these. I didn't think I was going to win the Gryffindor one because there was a lot of people commenting on that one. I had a feeling that I could possibly win this one, and when I got up in the morning and saw that she tagged me on both of them, I was thoroughly surprised. So that's just what I do. I wait until Friday night, put my bids in. The last possible moment before I start falling asleep, when I'm already laying in bed, is when I go and I check her auctions to see if there's anything I want to bid on, because there's no point in bidding before that. Somebody's going to outbid you anyway, so you just have to wait. So I ended up getting both of those, which I'm really in love with. And then this one has a button on the back of it. I thought that was cute. Let's see if it's still, oh, it doesn't stick on my thing either. I think I need to put a stronger magnet on this one. Yeah, because that one's not sticking with the button on there. And then I'm assuming, oh, I don't know what this is. I think this is just a cute little card. I think I'm going to back this with a thicker piece of board, maybe a matte board, and use this as a bookmarker, or maybe a piece of cardstock just to make it thicker, because I really like this. This is cute. It's like a vintage potion bottle or medicine bottle. Speaking of vintage, have you guys seen the Winchester movie? The new one with, I think it's Helen Mirren. I just watched it last night for the first time. That is a trip. Have you guys ever won an auction by Michelle? She has the freaking cutest handwriting that I have ever seen. I love her handwriting. Okay, today I saw that Jardin Privé came out with the cutest freebie chart called United Colors of Love. And I totally want to stitch this, and I want to hang it somewhere behind me that shows in my videos, so that everybody can see that we are all united here and not, you know, silly. So I freaking love this. I think I'm going to use something variegated on both of their dresses just to make it more fun. And I think I'm going to make one of them a redhead as well. I don't know which one. I feel like I really want to make the darker skinned one a redhead, but I'm not sure. But this is a cute chart. It's free on Jardin Privé's website. I don't know for how long, but it's free for now. I feel like most of them keep their freebies free for quite some time, or forever, whatever, I don't know. So another thing, so today I decided to stop at the thrift store that I'm always going to, and that not always, I haven't gone there this is the first time I've gone since COVID. So we're March, April, May, June, July, August, 6 months. I haven't gone in 6 months. My little sideburns. So I decided to stop today. Went straight to the craft section. Zip. Absolutely nothing cross stitch wise. So I decided I'm gonna go check out the books, because I only check out the books and the cross stitch stuff when I'm there. And when I was walking towards the books, there's a magazine rack. I never look at the magazines, and something prompted me to look at the magazines. And when I was walking towards it, I could kind of see, you know, because they're in aisles, something caught my eye, and I thought that looks like a stitching book. It was. So I picked up 4 things. Is it 4? 2, 3. I picked up 4 things. One of them, at least one is going to be a giveaway. I don't know what, there was about 25 leaflets there. They're all really old. They were all from the 80s and the early 90s, which is fine, but a lot of it just wasn't my stitching style, and I thought about getting it all. I remember calculating how much it was going to be if I took all of them, and if I recall correctly, it was going to be about $54 to take everything. Most of them were $1.99, but I ended up not getting all of them. I just picked these 4. So the one of them that I got is this one called Count on Cappy, and it scared me. It's Put Your Heart in Christmas 50 Projects, and it's a bunch of Christmas ornaments. My cat's getting into his cat food. Anyway, it's a bunch of Christmas ornaments, and I think, oh, I didn't notice that. Are they different? Yep. There's a bunch. So there's some here on the front, and then there's more on the back. Can you guys see? Yeah. So there's quite a bit. It says that there's 50 in here. So this is definitely going to be a giveaway, because I don't stitch ornaments, but I know a lot of you guys do. And a lot of them are really stinking cute. Like, I love the, like the ornament ball. You've got a mailbox here with presents. There's a tree. There's a cat here. There's a couple of cats, actually. They have one in here just called Cat. That I thought, oh, this one's just called Cat. Right here in the corner with the heart. You can't see for shit. I don't know what the fuck is up with this lighting, but there's some really cute stuff in here. So this is going to give away at some point. Speaking of giveaway, I never included my giveaway to the calendars, so that is definitely going to be at the end of this video. Then I found Looney Tunes. Who doesn't love Looney Tunes? This is $1.99, and some of these have the price. It originally sold for $4.25 in 1987, so this is older than me. I was born in 88. And I'm not a huge Looney Tunes fan. I like the old Looney Tunes, yeah, don't get me wrong. But I couldn't help myself. I love this Sylvester. The Bugs is probably my favorite. Tweety, Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner, Porky the Pig, and I can't ever remember this guy's name. You guys are all screaming it. I know you are. Is it Daffy? I might be wrong. What's the other duck's name, though? The blue one. The one that wears the blue. Donald Duck. This is Daffy Duck. I tell you guys. And then, something else that I got. I saw this, and I didn't look at the words on the top. I just looked at the image, and then I opened it, and immediately I knew. I'm going to show you guys this peek. That this was a dimensions kit, and I had to, not a kit, but a dimensions pattern. So I went to the front, and yes, it's a dimensions pattern. It sold for $4 when it was sold. I don't know what year. 2002, which isn't bad, I suppose. I got it for $1.89 and it's freaking gorgeous. It's called On Butterfly Wings, and it's kind of like a Native American woman with a butterfly blanket and butterflies all around her. I'm not a big fan of this butterfly border down here, so I'm going to see how I can kind of extend this background here, or maybe I won't stitch the background at all and just do some kind of hand-dyed fabric and do her and the small butterflies. I'm gonna look at the chart and see if that's even gonna be possible because of the way, oh yeah, definitely, because she's backstitched. Yeah, her whole entire outline is backstitched. So I think I'm gonna start with her and then go from there. And what I like about this, I'm gonna show you guys, a lot of kid charts don't have this. There is a gap in the seam. If you're a designer, please don't put your chart in the seam. I have a ton of Mirabilias and other patterns that are printed on the freaking seam, and then the entire row that's printed on the seam completely disappears because it's folded and it gets opened and closed, opened and closed. So what I've taken to doing is, if I'm gonna get a chart, what did I use? What chart did I just do that with? It must have been something from last week because I put everything away already, but I put tape as soon as I got it because I opened it up and it was printed on the seam. Put a piece of tape on there and I can barely decipher some of the symbols that are on there. And I just hope that when I go to make a working copy, those symbols are still decipherable because of that. It's so irritating to lose. Sometimes you lose a whole 2-3 rows because they're printed on the seam and the seam is thicker or whatever it is, and they all just rub off. Very irritating. So anyway, that one, love that. Then I got this for shits and giggles because I wanted to show you guys. So this is from 1989 and it is an autumn issue of Just Cross Stitch. It is just as thick as they come today. Actually, no, it's still thick, but I don't think it's as thick. Oh, it's 100 pages. And what was tripping me out about this is this has way less stitching than the magazines from today. There's so much more stitching and so many more patterns. This doesn't even say how many patterns it has. They weren't doing the thing back at this time where they have the list of patterns. And you guys, I shit you not, every single pattern in here is hand drawn. Every single one in, hold on, because I saw some Debbie Patrick's. Maybe I didn't. I think I'm losing my mind. I did not see any Debbie Patrick's. Every single pattern is hand charted in here. I'm going to show you guys what I mean. If you have any of the older Teresa Wenslers, those are hand charted as well. I have a couple of those and they're hand charted. It's crazy. I'm going to show you guys a peek of what I mean. Like, look at that. I'm going to show you the whole pattern. You can definitely see how thick the back stitching is, but I'm trying to show you guys the symbols. Look at all hand freaking drawn. And that right there is actually one of the easier patterns to read. You can see it way easier on this. The handwriting, yep, where they hand wrote notes in here with handwriting, every single chart in these late 80s issues. I don't know when they started doing the digital versions, but I'm not kidding you. This one's actually really clear. I'm not going to show you up close. There's like a sheep, the shepherdess, and I'm going to show you guys. Look at, let me find, it's just the setup of these catalogs back then is just so like unorganized. I'm so glad that they're way better doing this now than they were back then. Like, it just boggles my mind. So the pictures of the cross stitch, like some of these don't even have examples. Like, you just, it's so like out of order, it's freaking crazy. So the cover one, right, there's this one on the cover. So it's got it here. It shows it like this. There's a little 2-page spread on page 47. It shows it. But then you have to go all the way to page 58 for the chart. Why? 10 whole pages later. I don't know. It's crazy. If you guys can get your hands on one of these, do it, just so you can trip out on the setup of it. There's also so much more ads in this than there are in the newer issues. I'm assuming probably because there just wasn't as many artists back then, especially ones that hand drew their own work, because they just didn't have the technology to do what they do now. And so now it's different. I would say easier to do a chart because you're not hand drawing it, first of all. But anyway, that is my whole freaking rant on that. My kitty, it's laying there. He came back. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this whole whip and chat and start wrapping up this part. I do have one more thing. I wish it was daytime so I can show it better. I might show this again in the next thing. Totally not even in the center. So in my thrift store situation, they have started organizing it a lot better. And normally when they have pictures and frames, there was like this big bin, you know, like when you go to Walmart in the summer and they have those huge metal racks that they keep all the balls in. That's kind of what they had, and they would just have all the frames in there and you'd have to flip through them. They stopped doing that. They do that with the empty frames, but now anything that has something in it, they have this whole wall display of all of the frames laid out, and you can see what everything is. So I found this amazing piece and just had to get, I took the tag off. This is how much they were selling it for, $5.99, and immediately knew that I had to have it. It's a little different because I'm not into one of the things that's on here, but I loved the saying, and it's still a gorgeous piece. It's stitched, and I totally just saved the stitches on this one. Oh, you can see my, hold on, let me change this so it's not so, it's a podcast I'm supposed to be listening to. Look at, you can't see because of the glare on my computer. I'm gonna put a better picture here so you guys can look at that for a little bit. But it says, the soul would have no rainbow had the eye no tear. It's so pretty. I freaking love it. I don't like rainbows. That was the thing that I was going to tell you guys, is that I'm not big on rainbows, but I loved the saying on here. And when I was paying for it, the guy was like, I really like this. And it was some young kid, some male kid that was cashing me out, and he said that he liked it. I didn't bother explaining what it was because he was also distracted speaking to another coworker. And this was, you guys, this was professionally framed. Either that or they knew what they were doing. But it's got that backing paper on there. It's got a really professional hook on it. Well, like the plastic coated wire thing to hang it, to distribute the weight evenly. Has the glass cover, and then the frame behind it. In the daytime, if you hold it up to the light, you can see the edging on the inside from the frame on the other side, and it's like a kind of cherry wood kind of color. I'm having a hard time holding it because it's actually quite heavy, which also leads me to believe that this is professionally framed because of the weight. And then the backing, most, if not all, people who do it themselves, unless they've worked as a framer at some point, don't do this. And so there's no even like, it's pretty even on here. They just knew what they were doing when they framed this. If they weren't a professional framer, they did it very, very well. And it's so pretty. This is my first time saving the stitches. This is my first time coming across a piece of something stitched to purchase. Let me move my water. It was stitched on a piece of linen because you can see all of the slubs. Let me see if I can bring it in so you guys can see the actual, let me turn these off so you can see. What is that screen? What am I seeing? Ugh, you're seeing my phone screen. Can you guys see the stitches? So it's kind of dark, but I'm gonna put up some close-up picture. You know what? I'm gonna do that instead. I'm gonna put some close-up pictures on here so you guys can see what it looks like up close. But the stitches are huge. So this looks like it was stitched 4/4. I have never heard of this in my life. I'm just making up that number because the stitches are so big, and when I count the squares, there's 4 squares. The X's are on square on holes 1 and 4 at the top, which when you count it, it's 4/4. And the reason I say 4 strands is because the threads are so thick that it honestly looks like they're using at least 3 strands. The stitches aren't bulky enough for it to just, I mean, the stitches are way more bulkier than to be 2 strands, especially over 4. This looks like it might be 32 or 36 count linen. I'd have to take a measuring tape out and measure it. It's not in perfect condition up here in the daytime. I'll put a picture here that I'm speaking about it, of like some kind of stain up here in the corner, and then there's a smudge down here by the word no, of something. I don't know what. I don't think I'll be taking this out. It is a little crooked in the frame, and like up along the top you can definitely see where they pulled the fabric tighter in some spots, but I hear that that's kind of a common problem with a lot of cross stitch art when people are framing it, that sometimes it's still a professional job but they don't know how to get the tension correctly when they're framing it and stuff like that. But it's a very, very pretty piece. I don't know how old stitching on linen is, or like how there's no information on the back of this that could lead me to the when and where. I think when I get off of this right now, I'm going to look up this saying on here and see if something comes up, and see if maybe there's a pattern on there that I can maybe get a rough date as to when the pattern came out, and maybe go from there. That would kind of help with it. But yeah, the stitches are a lot bigger than normal. Again, I'm gonna put a picture, there's gonna be tons of pictures up on here, and I'm pretty sure it's finished. I mean, it's framed, so you know, some of the like pieces here kind of look a little like there might be something missing in the sky, but it's framed, so maybe not. Like maybe that's just the way the sky went. But it's so cute. I love it. Very, very cute. And I'm probably gonna hang it up there is where I have the most wall space. This goes all around. This wall is a lot bigger than it looks, and there's another wall on the other side, so there's actually 4 windows here, so I have plenty of space up on top there. So I think I'm just gonna put it there somewhere. I don't know, but I love it. It's very cute, and it's my first Save the Stitches, so I'm very proud of myself. Okay, you guys, this whole part's probably like an hour already, so I need to wrap it up. I'm gonna take you guys to the other video. I don't know if I'm probably not gonna introduce anything. I don't know, you guys know everything already as it is, so I'll catch you guys on the other end of this video. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So here we have another Flosstube. So I started this one a little bit differently. I started out with a haul that I pre-recorded last week sometime, because I had so much freaking haul. I didn't know what to do with all of it, and I didn't have I knew I wasn't going to have enough time when I did finally have the time to sit down and do this part of the video to do the haul part. And so I do have some more haul, unfortunately, that I'm going to continue to show you guys right now and go from there. So if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I've had a lot of new subscribers, and it's been interesting watching my channel grow and everything in between. And so yeah, we're gonna get to it and see. I wish I could just come on here and be like, this is my project, I started it this day, it's stitched on this, boom, boom, move on to the next one. That just ain't happening. I think I just buy too much shit and too much shit comes into my possession, and it just takes way too long. We are still in quarantine-ish. Today is the, let me check. Not even sure what date it is. It's 10:30. Oh, hold on. September 7th. Today is September 7th. I have a big homework assignment due tonight that I put my book away, but I have to do some reading, and it's just, it's a pain in the butt. So, yeah. We're going to do it backwards, and we're just going to continue with the haul. Let me grab it. So, the last week and the week before, a lot of people were putting like stuff on D-Stash for ridiculously low prices. And it was like, I'm talking like $2 charts and stuff like that. And so that's where some of this has come from. And then also I ordered some stuff 2 weeks ago. You guys, this is like kind of embarrassing, but I ordered a bunch of stuff on AliExpress 2 weeks ago, and I've gotten almost all of the orders at this point. I didn't show you some of the other stuff because I ordered a bunch of magnets and stuff, but I also ordered a bunch of these scissors. I ordered 10 pairs of these scissors because these are my favorite scissors, and I wanted to check the quality first. I'm not a big fan of gold. I actually really dislike gold, except that I have a pair of these already that are silver. I absolutely love them. They're a nice weight, and I want a pair of scissors in every project at some point. And all my whips, I don't know how many whips I have right now, and I was taking these out and putting, like, kind of traveling them around from project to project, and then they ended up staying in a project, and I have no idea which project that is. So I ordered 10 of these, and I'm going to go on there some point when I remember again and order probably 10 more, because I know I need more than 10. My point about the whole 2 weeks was that I ordered them 2 weeks ago, and I've gotten all of my AliExpress orders already. Today's the 7th. Today's probably about 2 weeks, but I've already got them. Some of them I got several days ago, and there's been stuff that I've ordered domestically 2 months ago that I still haven't even received. Like, what the hell is going on? Because I can see like a hair on the side or something. Okay, so this was from, you know, something I purchased a long time ago, but the last room from the Addams Family Stitch Along came out, and it's Morticia, and so this is the room, and so she's in her garden area, and then this is what the completed chart looks like. So I have to say that, to me personally, this does not look like a completed chart. I get that this is supposed to be the main part of the house, but there's nothing here, which seems kind of weird to me. And then this part, so the house ends here, but this looks like it's supposed to be the front of the driveway, and it's also blank. And then, of course, the tree doesn't have any leaves, so this part doesn't look too bad. But then up at the top, the edges of like the house don't have any walls. Like these two I get don't have any walls. These two do, and so that like looks completely normal to me, but up here does not have any walls. And so I'm kind of contemplating taking these rocks that they've put here and putting them here on this side as well to complete that top part. And so it'd kind of be like an overhang. And then I'm probably going to take a moon of some sort. I have several moons printed out from Witchy Stitcher from the Universal Monsters SAL. And there was a bunch of different variations that people did. And so I printed them all out. And I'm probably going to take a section of one of those and put it here of what fits, because I feel like it just needs more. And then here I have no idea what I'm going to do here yet. But from my understanding, I'm like 80% sure that he said this was the final room. And so I just feel like there's not going to be anything else. And so I'm going to have to do something else just because I don't feel like the pattern's completely pulled together. And that took like, it was supposed to come out, I think, in July. And he didn't come out with it until September. So I don't know what was going on. A lot of people were having shit fits over it because they were saying that the pattern should have been completely 100% finished before he released it, and that he was stitching it as he was releasing the patterns, and that wasn't fair, and blah, 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 blah. I just think some people are just like to find some stuff to argue about. And then these, I got a bunch of little thingies because I want to make maybe some needle minders out of them. So I'm not going to share those quite with you yet. And then I ordered these. I'm not sure how strong, I don't have a needle here, but I'm not sure how strong these magnets are yet. But somebody off of D-Stash was selling a bunch of needle minders, and I picked up these two. Look at how freaking cute they are. So we have a Dalek. There we go. And she lets you pick which way the Dalek's blaster is facing. I told her it didn't matter to me, and so this is the one that I got. They're quite smaller than I thought they were going to be. They're about somewhere between a dime and a nickel. They're smaller than a dime. I mean, smaller than a nickel and bigger than a dime. And then I also got these freaking floppy disks. The floppy disks, I ordered 2, and I sent one to my friend Amy, so I'm hoping that she gets it before she sees this Flosstube, because that is freaking cute. Floppy disk. If you're younger than me, then you probably have no idea what a floppy disk is. You're not missing anything. I don't know how this got into my pile, but this was a free crochet chart that I printed off of the Crochet Crowd. That just looked really neat. The pattern for the chevron blanket that I at some point would like to do. I really liked this brown and blue colorway, so that needs to go in my other binder. This was a freebie off of Twin Peak Primitives. Amy brought it to my attention, and I went ahead and printed it out. So theirs is done on an orange background, but you can do it whatever. I don't think I'm going to do it on the orange. I don't think the orange really draws everything in, especially here in the middle. So it says Autumn Welcome, Falling Leaves, Morning Mist, Woolly Jumpers, Pumpkin Spice Latte by the Fires. And it has some pumpkins. Of course, you've got your latte, your little baby goats, and then just the words and the leaves. So it's super cute. The chart, it's called Fall Tastes, and it was on the Twin Peak Primitives website. And it's about a page and a quarter of a page. Calls for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 colors. So not too bad, I guess. Let me see. Yeah. So there's that. This was also another freebie from Fiddlesticks AU. I thought it was so freaking cute. She posted it on her Instagram, and I had to have it. I believe you can, not 100% sure, but I think you can still get it off of her Gumroad. But if you go to her Instagram, you'll see. And I'm probably going to change the colors because I'm not a big fan of the colors, but it says worst year ever. And I'm probably going to do something where it says like 2020, or maybe I'll put it, instead of these arrows, I'll do part of the line and then do 2020 like this. But I love this. It's so cute. The chart is only 1 page, and it's very clear and easy to read. There's a little bit of back stitching, which isn't a big deal. And like I said, I'm probably going to change the colors because I'm not a big fan of the pink and purple look. And then these actually just barely came yesterday. So somebody on D-Stash was selling a bunch of Debbie Patrick designs for $2 a chart. And unfortunately, I had a lot of them already. And so I just went ahead and picked up the ones that I didn't have. And there were only 3, but everybody knows that I don't need any more charts. So the ones that I picked up is the Chateau Bon Hotel. I don't know if I'm saying that part right, but the Chateau. This is probably my favorite one out of these. And it calls for less DMC than some of her other ones. Like, the list is short in comparison. Like, it's only like half the page compared to the full page. As with all the others, there's several blends in here. But this is just such a gorgeous piece. The chart, very easy to read. The design of this, not really confusing. Her houses, though, do always have a ton of back stitching. So that's, you know, if you run across one of these, or if you find one and you want to stitch it, Keep that in mind. The next one I got was the St. Paul Queen Anne in Minnesota. So the chateau is obviously in France. This one's in Minnesota. I love this one too. I don't know what it is with all of the like pinky kind of houses back in the day. So I'm pretty sure these are all pink. Yeah, lavender. Lavender and pink. Yeah, it's so weird. A lot of the houses are pink. And I guess it was just that era where everybody was just painting their house pink. And I wish these had the year on it because they don't. Yeah, it does not have the year. It gives you the history of the house. Oh, yeah, this one says 1993. I couldn't find the year on my other one. 1995. And then I picked out this last one. That was St. Charles Ave, which is in Louisiana. Another beautiful one. I just love these types of houses, you guys. I'm really obsessed. This one was in 1995. So when these were like happening, there was actually a Victorian Cross Stitch of the Month club where you could get your Victorian house 25 to 40% off if you signed up for the monthly club. And all you would do was email the Debbie Patrick Designs business and sign up for it. But I'm pretty sure Debbie's retired now. I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm actually gonna look into it and see, because I would really love a comprehensive list of the designs that she has done as far as these are concerned. Ugh, my cat. Gumball. He's such a butthead. So yeah, that was a lot of talk about that, but there's that. Super pretty. I don't have any of the Christmas ones, but they're very pretty. Some of the, I think, yeah, see, like both of these on the side here are both considered Christmas Victorians, and these ones just have like a little bit of snow on the roofs, Christmas tree, like lights on the trees outside. I think originally what I didn't like about them was at the bottom it would say Christmas whatever year, and I didn't like that, not realizing at the time that I didn't have to stitch that part. So I think next time I run across some Christmas ones, I might go ahead and purchase them and see. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit more research on that. So this also came off of D-Stash. I don't know. This was a good deal. I can't remember how much I paid for this. It was really cheap, like really cheap. Not at all what you think it would be. I need to save that bag because I think it came in that bag. So I have no idea where this particular piece of Ada is from, but this is 16 count smoky pumpkin, and it says it's 15 by 18. She paid $14 for it. I did not pay $14 for it. It doesn't have any other identifying tags, but it looks like this. It's a good size. I thought at first that she probably hand dyed it, because I didn't notice that it did have a tag on it, because it does have some splotches on it, like accidental dye marks. It has like 2 of these. I don't know if you can see the other one. You can see it on this side. There's another little one right here. But really, with a color like this, orange, what are you really going to use it for? Halloween, right? At least me, because I stitch Halloween all year. It's not showing up as dark as it is. It's not as bright as it's showing up on camera, and you can see the modeling a lot better in person. So there's that. They smell decent. They don't smell like smoke or anything. They smell like they've been sitting, which is fine, because that's probably what my shit smells like. So there's that one. And then this one, I also picked out another piece of fabric. This one has a tag that says Color Cascade Fabrics, and it has a tag like this sewn into the, what is this called? The serging. And then it also has a card on it, and it doesn't tell me the stitch count or anything, but it does say Autumn Carnival. You can't really see that, but Autumn Carnival by Color Cascade Fabrics. There was no invoice on here, so I'm hoping that I still have the original invoice that I can go on there and check. But it looks like this. Again, it's a little darker than what it's showing on camera. It's not as bright as this. Amy is gonna hate me because we were talking about not having enough orange fabrics, which is what prompted me to get some orange fabrics in my stash because I don't think I have any at all. This I feel like is a 32 count. I can't be 100% certain without actually measuring it, but I'm gonna go back and check and see, but I'm pretty sure it's a 32 count. And see, and that's the kind of thing that sucks because you don't know, like when you're gonna go to stitch something on it, if you need to make sure that the count is right. This is, I don't think this is a fat quarter. I think it's smaller than a fat quarter. This card says absolutely nothing about it, which is kind of silly. Like, why would you put a card on here if you're not going to put any identifying information other than the color name? Because you already have this tag, which again doesn't say anything on it. So yeah, there's that. It's still a beautiful piece. It's not 36 because I can actually see the holes, and it's not 28 because I feel like they're just too tight for that. And then the last thing that I don't remember individually what I paid for these, but it was really, really affordable. The last thing I got was the fall issue of 2019's Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, because I am learning that these fall issues have a lot of really fun cross stitch patterns. And then we're gonna go ahead. I wanted to show you guys something because I haven't showed you guys this in a long time. So that's it for the haul. Better be it for the haul because there's no mail today. So that's everything that I've gotten as of yesterday. Okay, I wanted to show you guys this because I have not, you guys probably just got a peek right there. I haven't showed this in a very long time in its entirety, and you guys are gonna love it. My stepson just came home. I need to go get a cup of coffee anyway, but there's a couple of loose threads here that shouldn't bother, but it is my chopping maul. This is how far I've gotten on the chopping maul. I am so close, you guys, so close. So I need all of this special ending, my animals. I need all of the special ending characters. So in the ending, after all of the rooms were done, she released a pattern for this. There's a couple of things that go across the top. So she did come out with a couple of things that come across the top here. And I know there's something that goes in here. This is going to be filled in. And then I don't remember if there's something here or not, or something here on this corner. And then I just have this room here, and that's it. Everything here is complete except for, did I do Chucky's arms? No, I still have not filled in Chucky's arms. I don't know what is wrong with me or why I haven't filled in his arms yet, but I am missing one strip of his sleeve and his arms for some weird reason. Hey, Butter. I can't. Let's see if I can throw something at him. What are you doing? I have this giant shelf that goes almost all the way to the roof, and that's what I store my diamond paintings in, and he's trying to like jump up high. Anyway, you guys, I'm loving the way that this is though. So there's also some other stuff that I saw some other people do that I'm thinking of doing. So I have plenty of room up here to add some other stuff. So I saw some people doing some clouds and the moon and stuff up here. I think I want to do the clouds. I have plenty of space up here. I've got a good 6 inches of space up here that I don't need all of that. And I saw some people doing some stuff on the sides too. Some trees here. I don't have enough room on this side to do anything at all, but I have this. So I don't think it would look right if I did something just on this side. Let me move you guys a little bit more down because this isn't working for me. Something on this side, except that I don't think that it would match. And so when I first started stitching, I didn't want to start in the center of any fabric that I knew was larger than what I was going to need to do the piece. And so in my mind, I needed another 2 inches on this side, and then I would still have all of this fabric here on this side to put away and do something with. But now on kicking myself in the butt, especially for patterns like this, because I could totally have added some trees to the side of each of the building, and it would have looked even spookier. But it is what it is. I don't know. I just, you know, there's nothing I can do about it now. I was just such a tight ass when I first started stitching with my fabric that I didn't want to do that, and I didn't. And so it is what it is. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to do something additional to the top, which is probably the clouds. I don't think I'm going to do the moon. I don't think the moon fits in this pattern, but that's that. But I just wanted to show you guys, because you haven't seen this in its entirety in a long time, if at all. It's been a very long time since you've seen it. It's in its entirety. You've probably seen like 1 or 2 boxes. This top though, that's a lot. I don't know why. I'm very much, that's one of the reasons why I haven't finished this yet, because of this top. I'm just very much disliking it, and I'm glad that I started with the top first. So before I started doing any rooms, I did the entire frame first, the whole frame, and then I started up here in the top left and went and did all of this up to, I don't know if I did all of the words, but I did most of this here before I started working on any of this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I went halfway to the tip before I did any of the rooms, and then I got worn out on that and decided to come down here and start working on this, and then never worked on this again. When I picked this up again to work on it, I finished Sam Hain, and then I came up here and started doing everything from the halfway point this way. And so all of this is pretty recent. This was all done like at the beginning of the year, end of last year. I feel like I don't know when I started this. I'm so bad at that, you guys, but I know I started this last year sometime. I'm gonna go back and check when I purchased the pattern and then go off of that, because the release dates are on there, and I roughly started it when it came out. So Bendy Stitchy had a pattern release for her paid, it looked something like that. Well, it did look like that. For her Patreons and her YouTube member people. Am I blurry? So I'm a member of her YouTube channel, and I started stitching the pattern, and I just didn't finish it on time. I don't know why I thought that she said we could still turn them in on the 1st, and so on the 1st I was gonna just finish what I had stitched here, and all I had to do was both of the ghosts and the moon. And then I just happened to be watching a video of hers that day, and she said the 31st, and I was like, shit, I missed it. I missed the deadline, so that's okay. I stitched this on a scrap piece of 18 count Ada from Bestitch Me on the colorway Evil Queen, and this one I used the color Autumn Leaves by Threadworks for the house and the smoke. And then I'm using DMC Toile, the white, I think it's Blanc, for the ghosts and the moon that I'm going to do. And I just haven't finished it because when I realized on the 1st that I was past the due date, I was a little discouraged and didn't want to work on it anymore that day. And then before I started that one, I actually started it in another color. This one, which was 3 colors. Let me see if I can show you guys. 3 colors. I did the Ghosts in the Moon still in DMC Toile. It's so tiny. You can see how tiny it is. They're still in DMC Toile, but for some reason the string was messing up on this one, and I got mad at it and just didn't finish it, and that's when I started the next one because I wasn't happy with the colorway of this. I can't remember what 2 colors I used for this, but I'm pretty sure they were both Classic Colorworks, if I'm not mistaken. I think this one was called Autumn. I can't remember. I'm not sure, but it was all Classic Colorworks. I don't even know because I wasn't going to turn this in, so I wasn't going to write down what I wrote. So I'm still going to come in and finish the Ghost, and then I still want to finish the Ghost and the Moon on this one. And are you going to stay? I'm really want to turn them into Halloween ornaments. I just don't know if I left enough space in between them.
to do it, because this one I kind of tried to move it to a lighter section of fabric. I don't know why I put it here. I should have put it right here, because I didn't think that this thread was going to show up because it's like a purpley gray color, but I should have brought it further down, but I didn't. And so there's not a lot of space in between the two. So I'm hoping that I can cut an even line here and have just enough fabric. Maybe I can sew an additional piece of fabric on. There's plenty on here to wrap it around something and turn it into an ornament. I'm seriously considering putting my Christmas tree up closer to the end of the month, in another week or two maybe, and putting Halloween decorations on it, because something's got to give for 2020. So there's that. I haven't worked on a lot of projects these last 2 weeks, just because the ones that I have been working on, I've been putting a lot more time into them. Like that was 2 days right there. So this project is, I got a lot done on this one. Let me show you guys the full chart real quick. So this is for my Joanne in May stitch along that I started with Sarah the Stitchin' Mommy and several other Flosstubers. We all started Joan Elliott, I don't know why I say Joanne, Joan Elliott stitch along. I think it was the last day of May. We were just supposed to start something Joan Elliott, and I think she's stitching 2 Joan Elliott's right now. I'm not sure. I have a ton of Joan Elliott patterns. Well, because I have 2 of her books, but the one that I chose to start was this wizard, and it's called The Wizard's View, and it looks like this. And this is in the Bewitching Cross Stitch book, and it's filled with nothing but Joan Elliott's designs. And Gumball, why do you do that? Every time he shakes, he sprays shit everywhere and it gets on my stuff. I don't know, I feel like he has a runny nose all the time. That light is gonna piss me off. And this is where I'm at on it. My tension's tight here in the middle, so that's why it looks like it's coming down, but I swear to you it's straight. So I did a lot of this in May, and then I put it down the rest of the summer, didn't really work on it. So when I started working on it last week, I had this green corner up to here. And so not yesterday, but last week, I did all of this fill-in, because some of this stuff wasn't filled in. It was kind of missing things, because if I ran out of thread and I got tired of that color, I'd just pick another color and move on. And then went on. And then I also started the border, because I knew it was going to be super tedious and annoying. So the purple and the blue in this section are completely done, except for, you know, with the exception of this one, because I think that was the end of the page that I'm working on. Plus, I didn't have any more room with the Q-snap and the extra fabric that's sitting on this side, so I just went as far as it would let me. And then I started also filling in the metallics. So you're supposed to use Krynic, and I'm using I think it's a, let me see what it is. It's a pain in the butt. It is the Artiste Metallic Floss in gold. I think I'm going to go get a piece of Krynic and see if it's better than this, but I wasted so much just doing this little bit, because it kept getting all stupid, and like it honestly doesn't even look like X's. Like it looks like I went like this, like circled it around instead of making crosses with it. One, because it's super thick, and I tried to do it with one thread and it just wasn't giving the same effect with one thread. You could tell that it just didn't quite look right, and I wanted it to have, you know, obviously the best effect. So it is what it is. I'm stitching this on a piece of 16 count Ada from Bestitch Me. This was the February fabric of the month, and it's called Nova. I don't know if she offers this in the shop. I haven't purchased any fabric in a good little bit because I have a ton of fabric. So something that I noticed, I don't know what I did or why. This is not a good picture of this because it's so dark. Like it literally is that dark. It's not my lighting, and you can't see the colors in the robe well. And so when I had to sub out several colors because they just didn't match the colors that I personally had. And for some reason, when I was subbing the colors out, I used that DMC, I can't remember what website it's on, but you plug in a DMC number and it gives you a list of all the DMCs that are good substitutes for it. Obviously, not every single one's going to be a good substitute because it depends on what you're stitching. Now, either I was tired and it was late at night, or my lighting was really shitty that day because my colors don't look at all like what they look like in the chart. I'm going to show you a brief section here so you can see what I mean. You see this dark teal, and then there's like a teal, a darker teal, and then a light teal. But for some reason, my brain thought that I needed green. And so the big chunks of green are actually the teal colors in here. And to me, I don't know if you guys can see it properly, but to me, it doesn't quite match. And I'd already had a good chunk, like I had all this already stitched. And so I'm really worried that this is not gonna look right, especially because the top of his robe is blue, dark blue. And so when I put the colors up next to each other, I still feel like they look good next to each other. So let me show you what the colors in the robe are going to be so you can help me decide. 322 and 312. Unless I swapped them out. We'll find out right now because I wrote everything down. Oop, I did not swap those out. So the colors at the top are these two. And I still feel like they match. This is the top of the robe. And so that's what scares me. That doesn't match, does it? These two blues here. And I love the original color. I feel like they match the deep teal. And I feel like that color is more of a close match of what's supposed to be in the chart. But this green here is not supposed to be there. I'm contemplating ripping all that out and picking a proper teal, which would match more closely to this. I don't know, because the top of his robe, the overhang that comes over the shoulders, is going to be stitched in these two colors, and it doesn't match the green here, this green. If my phone can stop falling, I seriously don't know what I was thinking. I think that it was just dark, and I don't know. It's just, that's a lot of stitching to take out, and I'm really bummed about it. And then the edge, he's got a trim along the edges of his robe. That edge is purple. And so I just don't feel like, I mean, there is a good contrast between, I'm going to show you this part of the chart. There's a good contrast between, because this is all the stuff I've stitched already, between the blue and the green. You can obviously tell that they're different colors, but I just don't think that my green blends correctly with that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I leave it or stitch the whole bottom in the colors I already have and then choose the two different colors for the top instead of having to frog what I have here? I'm kind of thinking that I might do that, and instead of doing blue, two different shades of blue, I might maybe do the original teal that was called for. What happened was I didn't have the colors that this was needed to be stitched in, and I was really wanting to start this for the Joan and May SAL, and so I swapped out what I had in my stash. Now I have every DMC color, but before I didn't, and so it's just one of those things. I can't put that there because it's in your way. I'm really bummed out about that. Really bummed out. So next thing, I started allergies. Jay's X Stitch on Instagram was starting a Debbie Patrick stitch along, and so you guys know I have a ton of Debbie Patrick's, and I've had this kitted up for a long time, so I decided to go ahead and jump in on it and start it. It is the Winchester Mystery House, and it is freaking beautiful. I'm gonna tell you guys what. We started this on September 1st. Jay's X Stitch on Instagram. You can follow the hashtag Debbie Patrick SAL, or you can go to Jay's X Stitch Instagram account and get you know, click on the hashtag that way if you don't feel like typing it in or whatever, if you already follow him. So I started this on September 1st with him and a couple of other people. I've been working on it, and I got a good chunk done on it. And when I started it, I also sat down and watched the Winchester movie on Netflix because I hadn't seen it yet. It was in my wish list, and I've been wanting to watch it. And so I'm not sure. I feel like the roofs are coming out darker in person than they are on here. So the original Winchester house, it has since been painted or redone, and it is no longer this color, but the original Winchester house had these like red orange roofs. Doesn't look like that anymore, but this is what I have so far. And so you can see the shading here. This is a blend here in the middle, and I think this is a blend. I'm not sure. It's got quite a bit of blends in here. And so, oops, I'm showing you guys a chart. I'll have to put an emoji right there. So that's what I have. I've got the first, I started as usual over here, and got most of the palm tree done here to the edge of the roof. And you can see where I don't know what these tops are called, but I'm just about done with that. This was a blend, and I ran out, and I had already put everything away that day. And so when I came back to stitch it again the next day, I just didn't feel like pulling out the blend. So yesterday I put in this pinky color at the end. I did these rows down here, starting in the shading and stuff, and then I did this tower here. This took me quite a bit of time because I messed up my stitch count somewhere, and it took me a very long time to figure it out. And so that's what it looks like. I don't know what color is actually used for the house. Let me see, this brown, and there's a ton of back stitching. I cannot believe the amount of back stitching that is in this chart. I don't know what color. I can't quite tell on the chart like what color everything is because I can't figure out. The chart's a little hard to read. Gold is what they have here, light gold. So I'm keeping this project in a bag from, I think it's called Stars Hollow Stitchery, which is Erica D House. She has a Etsy shop where she sells project bags, and I ordered 2 from her. I was very nervous to order 2 from her because she is one of the people who I ordered from before, and I never got my order. The tracking number was still tracking, and at some point the order went back to her state, which I believe she lives in Colorado. It went back to Colorado, and then before we know it, the post office had a red notification on there that says that they destroyed the package. I have never in my life of my 10 years of working from home and shipping seen where they destroy a package. I have never heard of that. So I had ordered a bunch of patterns from her off of her D-stash, and she was so kind enough as to refund me my money, and I know it wasn't her fault. And so I went ahead and ordered this bag from her, and I have another bag over there that's it's still the fall theme, but it has trucks on it. I'm not a big fan of the fall trucks, but I love the fall patterns, and so I mean, like the fall aesthetic, and so I went ahead and ordered that one from her too. It's very well made. I absolutely love it. But I also wanted a good representation model to help guide me to do my own, because I've got a bunch of fabric already cut that's been sitting there for at least 2 months that I haven't even started sewing yet. So it is what it is. I keep that in here. I just got that. I never showed that here on the channel, but I just got that in the mail. And yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I'm loving stitching on this right now, you guys. I can't put it down. I'm stitching this in 18 count blue Ada from Be Stitch Me. I think everything's stitched on Be Stitch Me except for the Halloween one. The Halloween one, where'd it go? I folded it up and did something with it. What did I do with it? Did I take it in there? Do you guys see it? What did I do with that son of a bitch? What? Oops. Underneath all this shit. This is stitched on 16 count. Picture this plus shell. Is what that's stitched on. So I think that's it, you guys. This video was so freaking long. I'm going to put, after this, I'm going to insert the clip for the winner for the calendars. I'm pretty sure I know who won, but I'm not 100% sure. And I never shared who won it because I never drew. This gives me too many shadows on this side because the light is coming from that way. What can I do? Oh, also some maintenance. We have several spots open still for the floss of the month for the Mystical Diamond Art floss. The floss has already been sent out. I don't have the new flosses here. I was going to sneak peek them. but I don't have them here. And then the first month of the Weeks Dye Works floss went out as well. And I think the Weeks Dye Works club is full right now. But in November, if you sign up between now and between now and the end of the month. So in September, if you sign up for the Weeks Dye Works floss of the month, you will get brought in on month 3, which is November, and that is when you should expect your invoice. I've been sending out secret links to go to the Mystical Diamond Art website to pay for your subscription on the floss of the month, and so it's a link specific only to you. And so I just ask that you don't share it with anybody or give it to somebody else, because that's for you. And if you share it with somebody, then they will take the floss of the month that's designated for you. And it works the same way for the Mystical Diamond Art one. I think right now I've still got at least 5 spots open for the Mystical Diamond Art because I dyed a lot of floss. So there's still several spots open. And then for month 1, for Mystical Diamond Art, I still have a couple of individual skeins. I'm not 100% sure which, but I know I have some emerald that's going to go up on the website as a single listing where you can purchase just the skein. And there was one other color that I had some extra ones where you could go and purchase just a single skein. And then also, once the month is over, any leftover spots for floss of the month that weren't bought during that month is going to go up the following month. So I started floss of the month in August. So by August 31st, if anybody did not purchase any of the floss of the month that, you know, other than the ones that I already got out, if I didn't get any new subscribers, then September, the week of September 1st, I go ahead and I start counting the floss, see what I have, see what's left, and I'm going to put them up on the website. They're already up right now. I've already done this. I just haven't announced it. You can purchase the previous month's floss of the month in a non-subscription status. That means that you can go and purchase the floss and you're not tied into any obligation to keep paying the following months. You won't be sent any links or requests to pay for a second, third, or whatever floss of the month. You can go and purchase it. However, it is more expensive. This is just the best way to go about it. And since a little bit more work goes into making it a non-subscription status, and it is completely separate from the floss of the month club, the price is a little higher. So if you're really interested in saving money, I recommend just signing up for the monthly obligation. Obviously you don't have to, it's completely up to you, and I'm totally flexible with anybody who wants to kind of toggle between anything, but that's just what I'm doing. I felt like that would be a better way to provide you guys with the floss as well, because I know a lot of people just really aren't into the floss of the month. And then when the month is over, I will put the current pictures of, so these were the flosses of the month from August, and the pictures will be current. So if you're a subscriber, you obviously won't know what you're getting, and I'm not guaranteed that there is going to be leftovers every month, but when there is, they will go up and the picture on the listing will show you what the flosses look like, so you will not be purchasing them blindly. It's just, you're getting them later than everybody else, and you won't get to see them until the month after. But I felt like that was just the best way to go about it. And then it also allows me to not hold on to random colors, mismatched, that don't quite fit into a kit, and stuff like that for the individual listings. And then again, like I said, I'm pretty sure the Weeks Dye Works Club is full right now because I purchased 2 months at a time. And so the next opening, when I start accepting new people again, is going to be in November, is when we'll expand some more. So if you want to sign up, go sign up now. There's a link in the description box below. That's the Weeks Dye Works waiting list. You go on there, you put your name, your email, and that's it. And I will go ahead and send you the secret link in November when I send out the billing for November. However, September's Weeks Dye Works Club, we started in A. I don't think these are in quite alphabetical order, but you're getting them in alphabetical order. This is Adobe, so you're getting 5 skeins. This is Angel Hair, which is a tan. We've got Absinthe, which is a super bright green. Americana, super gorgeous blue. I love that blue. It's not quite as variegated as some of the other ones that are like Adobe, super variegated. And then Amber. So this is the first Weeks Dye Works Club. Now, I didn't have very many people interested in the 10 skeins a month for the Weeks Dye Works. I'm not sure why, because most of the floss clubs get between 6 and 10, or at least the ones that I get, it's either 6 or 10. It's not less than that. However, everybody chose 5 and not 10. I think there was only one person who said that they would be fine getting 10 skeins. Other than that, everybody else is interested in getting 5 skeins. So that is it, you guys. That's all the wrap up. I hope you guys stuck it out this far. I think I'm going to put a timestamp in the beginning with the haul part. I might put it in the beginning here on the screen, and then I'm going to also put it in the description box. That way, if you're not interested in the haul, you can fast forward, and then I'll also put something about important mystical diamond or important flossy updates or whatever, so you guys can see, because I feel like these are important updates too, but I just did this video all ass backwards. It is what it is. So I need to get off here. I need to do this huge homework assignment that's due today, and I need to get my office clean, plus my house and everything in between. It is what it is, you know, just one of those things. So I'll see you guys later. I don't know when this is going to go up, but I'll catch you guys in the next one.